Hello friend, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving back into color grading, specifically looking at Fujifilm F-Log2, some real projects that I've worked on over the last few months. I wanted to take you through the exact process I am using to get from the image straight out of camera to the final image that you guys are seeing. And with this, a lot of it will depend on how you're choosing to expose your image in camera. I've done some videos in the past about, when you expose just using the F-Log View Assist, you can apply my LUTs and get close to a one-click result that looks really good. I am not always doing that on projects. I have been messing around with overexposing my image, but not clipping it to just have a cleaner image overall. And I wanted to walk you guys through the steps that I'm taking to really get clean but rich looking images using my LUTs, footage shot in F-Log2. So I hope you would find this video helpful. Let's get into it. Okay, so now we are in DaVinci Resolve. Here are the shots we're going to be taking a look at today. Some various scenarios. These were all F-Log2, so if I turn off the grade, this was our starting point. And some quick housekeeping things. If I go to settings here, you guys can see I'm in DaVinci YRGB Rec 709A as my timeline color space because I'm working on a Mac, and then same as timeline for my output color space. And then if we come up here to preferences, under general, just take a look at these settings. If you're working on a Mac and you are getting differences, in your exports versus your viewer windows, just make sure these settings are the same. I seem to have really consistent results between what I'm seeing in Resolve, what I export and view in QuickTime, and what I put on YouTube and Vimeo. So check both your general settings as well as these color management if you are having issues. So now that we are in the color page, this first shot was a corporate interview. And if I turn all these nodes off, you guys will see where I started. This was F-Log2. So the first thing is just a LUT. And so if you guys come over here, this is my Meadow F-Log2 LUT A. And you guys will see right away, this looks blown out. And that's not because of the LUT necessarily. It's because I have been exposing F-Log2 in camera to be a bit brighter without clipping. This helps eliminate noise. I made a whole video on it if you want to go check that out. But I'm just going to show you guys how we go about correcting this very simply. So this next node is called exposure. I put this at the very beginning. And so if I toggle this on, you guys will instantly see that the image was brought way down. I did this with the offset. You guys will see where the offset originally started, and I brought it down to 12.5. Again, I just dragged this down until I felt like it was in a good spot. I also brought the highlights down. So originally 0, this brings the information back down. So before it hits the LUT, it's all there and feeling really good. The only other controls I touched was just adjusting our contrast. I did this with the lift and the gamma. So I brought the lift up. So when I brought the offset down, it was just a little too crunchy. So I was trying to even that out. And then I brought my gamma down slightly. I thought the skin was looking a little bit bright. So right away with just a LUT and exposure adjustments, I think this clip looks really great. If we turn on node 2, I'll show you guys kind of what I did. This is just a simple white balance adjustment. And so you guys will see it here in the temp. That was, let's see, before and then after. So this project, they wanted kind of a cool, neutral look. There was this blue wall, so I decided to rein in that white balance a little bit, but it didn't necessarily look bad before. So the only other thing to finish off is just my Meadow Film Effects. This is the subtle version, and so you guys will see this is before the film effects and then after. It just softens the image, gives a little bit of a glow, and kind of takes the edge off a digital sensor like the X-H2S. And so I will go ahead and toggle this grade. That was before and then after, before and then after. Diving into this second image, this was another kind of corporate shoot, but we were wanting to lean into a more dramatic documentary style. I wanted the grade to feel really nice. Wanted to focus their attention on the subjects as the room is very cool. And so if I turn off all these nodes, I'll just show you guys where we started. Very similar process to the last time, but we're going to add a few steps that I used to kind of polish off this image. So again, we have the LUT. It is my F-Log2 LUT A again. Let's double check that. Yeah. And again, similar. I overexposed this in camera to hopefully retain as little noise as possible. So we're going to go over to node number 2, and you guys will see those very similar corrections to last time. So brought the offset down, brought the gamma down, didn't touch the lift, feel like it was feeling pretty good. Brought the highlights down. This was just retaining all of that information before we hit the LUT. And the only other things I did was just a white balance adjustment. So you guys will see, I don't do this the exact same every time. I have a process, but again, it changes. I'm doing this on the fly. These are real projects. So my offset, I brought a little bit towards blue, and I actually warmed up the image. So doing both those corrections was just a bit of a white balance adjustment as the image was looking a little warm in camera. Next up, we have these vignettes. So if I turn both these on, don't be intimidated by this node structure. These are parallel nodes. This is just telling Resolve, do all of these steps before it hits the LUT. This is a really common technique if you are adding power windows or vignettes with exposure changes. You want to do that prior to it hitting something like a LUT, because that ensures you're not going to be losing information. So I'm going to delete this one because I just made that to show you guys. But if we look at this first one, you guys will see this is just a circle, and then I flipped the orientation. So it's just affecting what is outside of the circle. And from there, it's just bringing my gain down. So you guys will see that is where we were at before. And then I brought the gain down, just brings our attention more to the center. And then similar here, this probably wasn't needed. If you go off, there's really not a big difference there, but I did want to bring down the exposure of this just slightly. So again, circle power window made it nice and big and soft, and then I went to my gain and brought it down slightly. From there, I just did a few things to finish off this image. We have skin L. The guy on the left side had a little bit more of like saturated skin than the guy on the right. I wanted him to feel similar. So I came over here to hue sat, and I brought that down, and I was using a power window, again, circle, to just flag him off. So we're only adjusting the saturation on that side. I didn't need to key his skin, do anything too specific. This was good enough to get this image looking really nice. And to finish this off, you guys will see this adjustment. So quite a big adjustment from there to there. I just wanted this to feel less saturated and less kind of bright and a little bit more moody. So I made this adjustment node. This is after the LUT adjustments, and let's dive in here to see what I did. I just brought the lift down slightly. Here on the hue, I probably tried to make an adjustment, but then decided not to. So there's not really any tweak there. Hue sat, I brought down the saturation of the skin tones just a bit, just to take that kind of orange edge off. And from there, I don't think I touched anything else in here. So again, really simple, broad controls. And then to finish it off, again, the metal film effects subtle, just to give it a little bit more of a softer look. And so there is before and then after, before and then after. This next shot was done outside, all natural light. This was for a teaser for one of my wife's songs. If we go ahead and turn all of this off, very similar process to the way before. So again, LUT. We have my F-Log2 LUT A again. Right away, I didn't have to overexpose this one as much, so it looks a little bit closer. From there, primary is where I did those exposure adjustments. So again, brought my gain down, highlights down, and just retaining some of that information. Adjusted my white balance here just at the very beginning, making sure my image is not looking too warm. From there, we just did the power windows again. So if I turn all these on, I wanted this to be a much more kind of dramatic, moody look. And so there is all of them off, and you guys will see we're adjusting the gain. So on the first one, I actually brought a little bit of pop here to the center with a contrast. So the gain got brought up, but the gamma and lift were brought down. The second one is actually funny. I probably meant to do a power window, but I didn't. I just brought my offset down. And so again, just adjusting the exposure, didn't even do a power window. And then here to end, I did do a power window, similar as the last time, brought the gain down, and this was looking really good. From there, I made some final adjustments, added a little bit more contrast just by bringing the lift down. And then if we go over here, let's see what I changed. I don't know, didn't end up changing anything there. From here, I think I thought it was looking a little bit too crunchy and moody, and I'm not sure the exact steps that I made these nodes, so it might be confusing. Like, why'd you bring the adjust down and then you brought it up? It's like, because I'm grading this in real time, and I might have done the lift node first and then brought it back down with the adjustment node. There are so many ways to do this, but again, I was just adding a little bit of pop, brought my gain up just to brighten the image a little bit. And then from here, just did a tweak to the reds. If I come in here, you guys will see it's just a hue sat, kind of keying out the skin, but bringing it down just kind of on her sweater to match the red, and very subtle hue tweak there, but I don't even think it's very noticeable. So that was before and then after, and then again, finished off with the metal film effects, giving it that little bit of film-like characteristics. So there is before, and then after, before, and then after. This shot right here was done around sunset. Again, all natural light. Let's turn all of our nodes off. You guys will see a theme to my process. There is nothing new. It's the same techniques, kind of used over and over and over in different ways. But we're just going to start with my LUT, a little bit overexposed, trying to get a clean image. This node will bring everything down. I wanted this to feel like a sunset, so I probably brought it down quite a bit. Yeah, negative 100 highlights, brought the offset down. And then from there, instead of doing a vignette like I've done in the past, I wanted to just affect the grass. So you guys will see it's a circle window that I stretched out, lined up with the grass, and then brought the gain down. And in my gamma, I just shifted it a little more warm. So that was before and then after. Just wanted that tone to feel warm, like it was sunset. And so this final node down here, I'm not gonna fully dive into this because I think it's probably a little bit more of a complicated technique, but I'm using an outside node, so the inverse of the grass. So I'm only affecting the sky. And then within the sky, I went to the qualifier and just luminance keyed out everything. So I was just kind of grabbing the sky up here. It's the clouds, but it's mostly the sky. And I just did a little bit of saturation boost, brought the highlights down, and just wanted this to feel warm again, more like a sunset. Moving on after our LUT, let's go to the adjustment node. Just brought the image down a little bit more, still wanting it to feel like sunset. And then right here, because of the grading I was doing, the clouds ended up looking more orange than pink. I kind of wanted that pink pastel-y sky. And so for here, you guys will see I just did a hue adjustment and brought those clouds more pink. And to keep it off her skin, because they were reading a very similar color, I actually just made some custom power windows. So if I were to make another one, you just add it here and then you can draw. And I just added those right around the clouds. This shot was just going to be static, and so I did not have to worry about the camera moving at all, but I was able to adjust the clouds that way. From there, I was like, man, it's looking a little too sunsetty. I looked at it on my phone and it looked just a little too dark, and I decided to add some pop. So this final node here, I just brought my gain up quite a bit and then brought my gamma down. It's just adding that pop to the final image. I really wanted it to feel bright, but always finding that balance between moody and it's still looking vibrant, because this is going to be posted on social media. To end, we just had my metal film effects again, giving it that nice glow. And so there is before and then after, before and then after. This final shot here is all artificial lighting. So it's actually nighttime outside. I was blasting light through these sheer curtains right here. So if we turn these off, guys, we'll show you how I went about grading this. We're going to start with the LUT, Meadow F-Log 2 LUT A, and again, overexposed to this in camera on purpose. You don't have to do that, but I don't love always doing noise reduction after the fact. So if you can overexpose without clipping, that's a great idea. That's what I was doing here. We go to exposure. You guys will instantly see I'm making those same tweaks, offset, adjusting my lift, gamma, gain, just to get the contrast in the right world, retaining the highlights before we hit the LUT. From there, I did have a vignette. I wanted to bring the image down, but just on the outside of her body. And so I did it with the circle. I rotated it so it was in line, kind of stretched it out, and that was softening it. From here, this image was looking a little bit warm to my eye, so did a white balance adjustment, and I just did that here. If you guys look in the gamma, again, you don't have to do it the same way every time. I'm always doing it differently. You can do it in the offset, you can do it in the gamma, you can do it in the temp and the tint. Just depends on your shot, what you're feeling that day. I did it in the gamma here, cooled it off. And then I made a little bit of just a shadow adjustment. So I did this just with the lift. I wanted this to feel moody, dramatic. I brought those shadows down after the fact, still before I hit the LUT, but this was looking quite good. From there, I added this node called tweak. I think I just wanted to add a little bit of that pop in. Sometimes when you're doing highlight retention and pulling back information here at the beginning of the image, you can kind of start to ruin the natural log curve that the image has. And I still wanted the image to have that pop, so did this just in the gain after the fact. From there, I wanted to further kind of highlight her. So you guys will see subject. This is a few different power windows, but I just wanted kind of a streak of light through here, and then also here on the corner because this was starting to get pretty dark. So I did those with circles. This first one is just running through the middle here. And then this second one, I actually have the kind of cancel out inverse feature so that it is not affecting this corner. So overall, that is kind of what those are doing there. To finish it off, just wanted to soften the image. Film effects right away. I mean, that looked really good, but I still felt like this looked a little too, I don't know, sharp. I wanted it to be kind of filmy. So this final note is called soft. I added a very soft power window, brought my gain down, brought my gamma down, wanted her skin to feel just in a really nice spot. And then I brought my midtone detail down to -72. So it's kind of a dramatic amount. Every scenario might not turn out as good as this, but that was before any softening. And that was my film effects and then the extra softening. I felt like that just took the edge off of kind of the harsh lighting coming in. I felt like it looked really good. And so there is before and then after, before and then after. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys find videos like this helpful, walking you guys through my actual process of how I'm getting the images that you're seeing using Fujifilm cameras, F-Log2, and my LUTs. Please let me know any questions down below as I'd love to answer, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.